The 17th century Hindustan. The Bharatvarsh was under the rule of Islamic invaders, the Mughals in the northern and central part of the country, and the Deccan Sultanates in the Deccan. Centuries had passed since the first Islamic invasion had happened. The invaders started to increase the Islamic influence on Hindustan at a gradual pace. Demolitions of temples, looting pilgrimage sites and destroying deities, taxing the Hindus very heavily and sometimes forcing people to convert by holding a sword close to their necks. Hindu soldiers defeated in wars were beheaded mercilessly, their women raped and traded as slaves. The people of Hindustan had enough of this misery. But they had no other choice but to clench their fists and calm themselves, blaming their fate for these happenings. No one seemed to stand up against the invaders, fearing for their lives. The Rajputs aligned with the Mughals and even became family. Just when people thought there was no more hope left for a Hindu to save them all, and just when the invaders thought that they had control all over Hindustan, a child was born on 19th February in the year 1630. In the Shivneri fort, he was born in a place ruled by the invaders, surrounded by the Mughals in the north and Deccan Sultanates in the south. He was born in a family that served the Deccan Sultanates as generals. This boy's birth would mark the beginning of the birth of a hindavi swaraj, a nation by, for, and of Hindus. Free from the shackles of invaders, this boy would become a revolution himself and wage wars all his life, freeing his people and restoring the lost glory of his culture. He would become the hero of millions, a god to his people, and inspire youngsters for generations to come with his nationalist thoughts and war against invasion. This is the story of the rise of a legend. This is the story of Chatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. Hello to all the curious bees out there. Now sit back, relax, as we travel back in time to the birth of a legend. Shivaji Maharaj was born on February 19 in the year 1630 to Jijabai and Shahaji Bhosle in the hill fort of Shivneri. He was named after the deity of the fort, Shivai Devi. Shivaji Maharaj's father Shahaji Bhosle was a Maratha chieftain who worked under the Mughal Empire headed by Emperor Shah Jahan for a while, after which he started working as a general and was a Jagirdar under the Bijapur Sultanate headed by Adil Shah. Shahaji Bhosle was constantly on the move and had almost no time to spend with his son. Shivaji Maharaj grew up with his mother most of the time. His mother Jijabai taught her son moral values using the Mahabharata and Ramayana and various Hindu scriptures. It was the teachings of his mother Jijabai from the Hindu epics that Shivaji Maharaj picked up core values and dharma which he carried on all throughout his life. He was also very close to his mother and highly respected her love, vision and principles. He was trained in combat, warfare and strategy by Dadoji, who was appointed as Pune's administrator by Shivaji Maharaj's father. The influence of his mother and her teachings raised questions in young Shivaji's mind. Why do people of Hindustan not allowed to rule over it? Why do people from the east invade our country and rule over it? Why are temples being destroyed? Why does nobody try to establish our own swaraj and defeat the invader? These questions plagued him. The teachings from Mahabharata and Ramayana taught him that it is a ruler's moral duty to establish dharma and set things right. Shivaji Maharaj then realized that he had to shoulder up the responsibility of re-establishing dharma over Hindustan and take on the invaders. At the age of just 13, while most of us were watching Chota Bheem, Shivaji Maharaj had started recruiting soldiers after explaining his vision to them. A significant number of them were happy that someone was at least trying to free them from the rule of invaders and soon joined him. And at the age of 16, Shivaji Maharaj with his small army took control of the Torna fort, taking advantage of the chaos prevailing in the Adil Shahi court due to the illness of Sultan Muhammad Adil Shah. They looted the wealth the Sultanate had amassed. This victory gave the army of Shivaji Maharaj confidence and the Maratha people hope. In the next few years, Shivaji Maharaj was able to capture a significant number of strategically important forts like the fort of Kondana and Purandar. He started construction of the Raigad fort using the wealth obtained from the treasury of Tona fort. By this time, he had taken direct control of the eastern parts around Pune. The Bijapur Adil Shahi Sultanate were very worried about the actions of Shivaji Maharaj and saw him and his vision as a threat. Shivaji Maharaj started to get the support of people, and this forced the Sultanate to take some action and curb the revolution. On 25th July in the year 1648, Shahaji Bhosle, the father of Shivaji Maharaj, was arrested in an attempt to force Shivaji Maharaj to stop his military campaigns. For the next 1 year, Shivaji Maharaj had to slow down his pace and give up some forts in return of his father's freedom. Shahaji Bhosle was released next year and Shivaji Maharaj was back at hunting down the enemies. It is said that Shahaji Bhosle was not in support of his son's vision. Shahaji Bhosle was constantly worried that it might cause harm. At one point, it is believed that Shahaji Bhosle told the Bijapuri Sultanate that he no longer considers Shivaji Maharaj his son and gave the Sultanate the right to do whatever they want with him. But this is a disputed claim that is very controversial. Anyways, years passed and Shivaji Maharaj now had hundreds of forts under his control and started ruling over a significantly large part of terrain. And by this time, the Marathas looked up to him as their savior and were ready to pledge their lives for his mission and trusted every word he uttered. He became the people's champion. The Sultanate was frantic over the ever-growing power and influence of Shivaji Maharaj and wanted him to weaken. The Bijapur Sultanate decided to make peace with the Mughals, with whom they had numerous conflicts with, and decided to take on the common enemy, a man with a vision to establish a Hindavi swaraj. In the year of 1657, the Sultanate sent their mighty veteran, General Afzal Khan, to arrest Shivaji Maharaj. Afzal Khan desecrated the Tulja Bhavani temple before proceeding the order. The temple was home to the family deity of Shivaji Maharaj. This made him furious. He was waiting to hunt down the enemy who dared to touch temples under his vision. Shivaji Maharaj was waiting to take control of the Pratapgarh fort. After a couple of months, Afzal Khan sought a private meeting between him and Shivaji Maharaj to sort things out in a peaceful manner. Shivaji Maharaj agreed to the proposal and the two met at a hut set up on the foothills of the Pratapgarh fort. Shivaji Maharaj entered the hut and was now face to face with the tall and mighty Afzal Khan. Afzal Khan welcomed Shivaji Maharaj with open arms in the pretext of welcoming him. But the while Khan was way taller and bulkier than Shivaji Maharaj, started to choke him and attack him using a dagger. But the dagger was not able to pierce him. Shivaji Maharaj was already ready for this and had a body armor beneath his clothes. Now this is the man who dared to oppose the invaders while he was surrounded by them we're talking about here. We're talking about a man so intelligent and wise enough to defeat mighty armies with his small armies using tactical war strategies. Of course he was prepared for this. While Khan continued to choke him, he pulled out a bagnak, which was a deadly weapon resembling the claws of a tiger. He pierced the mighty Khan's body with so much rage. Khan had just destroyed a temple under his supervision. With eyes filled with anger, he pulled out the bagnak with such force that it is said that Afzal Khan's internal organs started coming out of his body. Afzal Khan was dead. The armies clashed at the foothills of the fort and Shivaji Maharaj emerged victorious. The enemies who were captured at the Pratapgarh fort were set free to live their lives after the fort was fully captured. That was how generous Shivaji Maharaj was. He then kept conquering one fort after the other. One such important fort he tried capturing was the fort of Panhala. In 1659, Shivaji Maharaj defeated the forces of Bijapur under Rustam Zaman and took control over the fort. But in 1660, the forces of Bijapur and Mughals allied once again and planned to attack the Maratha forces from both the northern and the southern end. The Bijapur Sultanate sent an army headed by Siddhi Johar. He purchased some grenades from the Englishmen and also hired some English artillery to fight against the Maratha forces. Shivaji Maharaj had no other option but to hand over Panhala fort to the Sultanate, but he later took control of it again in 1673. Another important event that happened in the life of Shivaji Maharaj was the Battle of Pawankhand. Now, this is dubbed as the 300 Spartans of India, when about 300 Maratha soldiers laid down their lives for their Maharaj to escape because they believed that their lives are of least importance when compared to the life of Shivaji Maharaj, a god in human form and his great vision. Shivaji Maharaj had planned to escape the Panhala fort on one night and executed his plan, but the enemy sniffed his escape and started marching towards him. Sardar Baji Prabhu Deshpande decided to fight back with his soldiers who were very small in number and engage the enemy so that it would buy some time for Shivaji Maharaj to escape safely. Shivaji Maharaj pleaded with his Sardar and told him that this was suicidal, but Baji Prabhu Deshpande insisted and commanded his king to escape for the future of hindavi swaraj. Almost 300 Maratha soldiers laid their lives that day for their Maharaj. The events that are about to happen next will be the direct conflicts and wars that happened between the powerhouse of India at that time, the Mughals, headed by Aurangzeb, who had crowned himself the Badshah of Hindustan after winning the Battle of Succession, and the Maratha army, headed by Shivaji Maharaj. Buckle up for the part 2 of this series because it is the Clash of Titans. So that's it for today's episode of The B Show. Hope you all enjoyed this episode. Watch out for part 2 of this series, and as always, keep the fire of curiosity burning inside of you for eternity, and peace out.